What up, everybody? And we are back with another episode of A-List After Dark. Your favorite people are gracing your presence, everybody. No, let me stop. What's up? I'm your girl, Angie, and I got my boy Kev with me for another episode of A-List After Dark. How you doing, Kev?
I'm doing good, Angie. Blessed, can't complain. Any day above dirt's a good day, and I'm on 10 toes down on the ground in New York. Can't complain.
Absolutely. Kev, you had a long week. Tell the people, you was in LA and you're back now. Yeah. So tell the people how you feeling.
I don't know yet. I'm still kind of numb. Obviously, I was in LA for over a week, taking care of business on various fronts. Staying out in Santa Monica, beautiful, right by the beach. So it was cool. It was really good. It's kind of crazy how the weather changed out there. One day I was sitting a block away from the beach or dinner, and I'm like, you put the heat lamps on, it's a little chilly out. Next day it was like 98 degrees. Like, oh wow, this is 360.
Yeah. You were there for the heat wave. I heard there was a heat wave out there.
At the beginning of the heat wave, yeah, exactly. And it's crazy because when the trip was great, the flights were great, but for those who are in the know, realize that there was a pilot strike, right? So a lot of maneuvering happening with people changing flights. So Friday, I'm flying back, right? And I'm supposed to be in about 10-ish Eastern. So that, on JetBlue, they have the map, right? It lets you know where the plane is at.
Right.
Your trip. So we're getting close, and I noticed like my little nephew was drawing a circle. It was just this big circle. So we kept going in circles because what I found out later on, there were 5 flights that had to land all at the same time because of all these changes and different things happening with flights getting canceled. So we stay on the plane for another hour and a half, right? So get off the plane about midnight. Okay,
damn.
Let's just get home. The cab line at JFK here in New York was like a 2-hour wait.
Yeah.
Now they're going, oh, you could take the train to Queens. I'm not taking no damn train. I don't live in Queens.
That's what I told you to do because that happened to me. Yeah, that happened to me before. I got like stranded, kind of like semi-stranded at JFK during a snowstorm one January. But I was able to get out of there because they were canceling all the flights, and it was hard to get out of the airport because the little shuttle thing stopped running.
Yeah.
So what we had to wind up doing, thank God I had snow boots on. Thank God I was good. But I felt bad for the people who was flying in from hot climates right into the snow, with no, gear and stuff. But we were able to walk to the train and get to the train and then get out of there. And I was able to get back uptown. But it was a nightmare trying to get out of JFK.
Well, I just decided to weigh it out.
Yeah, that's a long
I was
day.
coming from a warm climate, but even though I looked a little foolish in LA with a hoodie on and sweatpants, but when I got to New York and on the plane, it was a good look. So I finally get home about, almost 3 a.m.
That's a lot.
Take a quick shower when I should have been home about 10:30, 11. And I did 9:50 yesterday. We recorded the show. And
that you a trooper for that.
Yeah, and I haven't left my house since.
Yeah. Because what time is y'all show in the morning?
We start recording around 10 a.m. because we do different components. Obviously, our show is recorded, so in entirety. So we record like our interviews and guests on Saturday mornings, and then we do like our preamp, all our conversation stuff we do for radio consumption during the week.
Right.
So we did our interviews yesterday. Had a couple great interviews. And but after that, I was like, "Listen, I'm going home."
You tapped out.
Anybody else? So been home since then, relaxing, but excited to be here on Angie's World, and nothing like A-List After Dark.
Yes, thank you so much for being here, and y'all make sure y'all please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, y'all, today is Sunday and I dropped a new episode of Angie's World podcast. I do a series called The Ladies VIP, and this week it's featuring Shantae. I dropped it this morning, so if you get a chance, go check out that episode. We spoke about, is ghosting ever okay? Plus, we asked the question, is temporary relationships every man's dream? So if you want to find out what we thought about that, head on over to the Ladies VIP Angie's World podcast episode 17. I want to thank, it already has I mean, for my channel, for me to be a small content creator, and I'm thankful for even 2 people tapping in. I almost got 50 views so far on it, and I just dropped it this morning. Thank you so much for everybody that's tuning in. Go check out Kev. He's at 950 Kev on Instagram. He got his show. He has his radio show. He's on. They have their own app called Backstage that you can download on all streaming well, you could go into your applications and download Backstage and hear his show there. They're on Rough Riders Radio, and he has a lot of stuff going on. And his team is really big too, so you can tap into the other players on his team. And shout out to everybody that's down with 950 Lounge. Y'all are dope. And I'm gonna come check out y'all podcast, The City please Island, one Saturday. Definitely
our radio show, but please do.
Excuse me, y'all. Y'all better not call Kev's show a podcast. He has a syndicated radio show. Sorry about that.
I'm only messing with you.
No, I know. All right, so we're just checking in with each other. It's been a long week with a lot of things going on, Kev. So we got a lot of stories to cover. This is what I want to say. My birthday is this week, guys, on Thursday, April 14th. I'm happy to be living another year. I'm going to try to drop videos all this week. I might not drop on Thursday because it's my B-day, but yeah. So I just wanted to let y'all know that's the mindset that I'm in right now. All right. Yes. All right. So let's go into this story first. All right. Here we go. WACK 100 clipped from Clubhouse the other day. Like, this happened, I want to say maybe Thursday, and he got his account back on Saturday. So WACK 100 clipped from Clubhouse, and his account has returned. For those of you guys that are not aware, Kev really didn't know the whole ins and outs of the story. So I'll give you guys a brief synopsis for those of you guys that don't know or aren't tapped into Clubhouse. And if you want to hear the full audio conversation of what went down, you could go to YouTube and you can type in Ion X, that's AYANX, and WACK 100 and Benzino, those 3 names, and you'll be able to hear the full audio. So shout out to Ion. He's a content creator on Clubhouse. He does a lot of big rooms. And he's a cool guy, from what I know about him. He's part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And he, does rooms and stuff, but he's very mainstream. He does pop culture rooms. He covers pop culture topics. He covered the room. I mean, for those of you guys that don't know what happened a couple of weeks ago, Benzino from The Source and Cavario from Don Diva were all in the headlines because there was a video that allegedly came out. Well, it didn't allegedly come out. There was a video that surfaced on the blogs from a police cam of the 2 of them. I guess they were in the, what was it? The Red Roof Inn.
Red Roof Inn.
They were in the red. They were in the. Sorry, I'm looking at Kev's face.
Not your 5-star hotel.
All right, they were in this motel in Atlanta, right?
In Atlanta, yeah. Okay,
so they were in a motel in Atlanta called the Red Roof Inn, which is sort of like a low grade, motel, 1 star.
Yeah, 1, 2,
about a 1 to 2 star, and they were in the room. They were there together. I don't know what happened, but the hotel didn't want their business anymore, so they were asked to leave. I don't know what transpired, but police were called to then go to the room to escort them out. And that's where the footage came out that Benzino and Cavario were in there together. So, which is not an issue until, Benzino said something that was a little questionable to the cops because he was arguing back and forth, with the cops. He was getting a little belligerent and the cops were like, okay, they don't want your business. You got to leave. So he's arguing back and forth. And he's like, well, if we were a white couple, I forgot the names he used. Let's say he used Ted and Bill. If we were Ted and Bill, a white couple in there, would you guys be treating us like this? So people thought that, it was questionable that he used that analogy. And this is an old story. This came out about 2 or 3 weeks ago. A lot of urban media, particularly hip hop channels and blogs, covered this story. Okay. There were questions about their sexuality. There were a lot of things being covered, you know what I'm saying, with that story. We didn't hear really much anger come out of Benzino or Cavario. It was pretty much like people were questioning things, but the story was, pretty much reported and then done. I think Cavario did go on someone's channel and addressed it. I don't really know the follow-up. I just know the story came and went. So now, fast forward, Ion, who's part of the LGBTQIA plus community, he doesn't really particularly cover stories on rappers and cover stories that's a little bit more like, I guess, gangsta. He posted Benzino caught with another man, or a title that said like caught with another man in Clubhouse. That caught wind of WACK 100. He went in there. He had some words with Ion. He then went and got Benzino. Benzino went in there and had words with Ion. And supposedly, WACK violated the terms of service of Clubhouse. And WACK 100 got his account clipped, which then spiraled this, whole, 3-day thing of free WACK 100 and the LGBTQ community having rooms with the straight. It just spiraled into like this whole big thing that now it's like, the straight community, the gay community, the this, the that. And people were, questioning, well, this story is pretty much old and Benzino didn't flip on anyone else. Why is it that he's flipping on Ion? I heard people say, they should have picked a more equal opponent. Why, come in there and verbally jump this, openly queer guy about a story that people have been consistently talking about the last month. So now it's turned into this whole thing. So he's back now on Clubhouse. Yeah. I don't really know what the aftermath is because when he first got back on, I think it was like either last night or today. There wasn't no like big rooms about it. I don't know if him and Ion spoke, but I was in there for the WACK and Benzino kind of verbal situation with Ion. Right. I sent you all the links. I don't know if you were able to check out the video and everything. So what do you think about this? Okay, what you think, Kev?
Well, here's the thing. And I'm going to try to give a full a few view of this thing, right?
Okay.
Now, what we're noticing throughout media when it comes to entertainers, when it comes to reporters, that over the last, I would say, 6-7 months, athletes, entertainers have been biting back at people who do similar things that we do. Mm-hmm. We've seen it happen with Russell Westbrook, the NBA player that plays for the Lakers. Skip Bayless, who's a known reporter, was calling him West Brick. And Westbrook came out and did not like that, said it affects his family. It affects, that's not his name. And then obviously what we've noticed through our society, even like with people running for president or political people, once somebody starts using something, it snowballs because we're all victims of social media. So when I heard it, again, WACK, I won't use the words that were given or were spewed, but it seemed like he was kind of protecting his friend. Okay. So from that standpoint, I get it. Like, look, if I'm in a situation, in a room or in a conversation, and somebody says something derogatory about somebody I'm cool with, I'm going to defend him. He chose his way. We know how WACK communicates. He chose his way. Now, for Benzino, think about Benzino in this situation. Somebody calls you, Angie. Hey, Angie, these people are talking about you. And we know that Ion has a huge following on Clubhouse. So, again, somebody's talking about you, and we don't know what WACK said to Benzino to rev him up. But obviously, if that's somebody I rock with, and then like, yo, man, you got to come defend yourself, defend your honor. They're ripping you or saying things in your mind, or whether they're right or wrong, you don't want them to be discussed. He came in guns blazing. Now, again, there were words said, listen, these are OG street dudes, so I get it. But the height or the emphasis of the conversation to me with Benzino was that, listen, I don't want to get into this please keep your name out my mouth. And I understand where Ion sits. He's a reporter. He does rooms. He's trying to spark conversation that obviously helps and promotes his business. Obviously, that doesn't help out Benzino, because that's looked upon, even with all the diversity we have in our world now, where it really shouldn't matter. It does matter. And obviously, Benzino did not want to discuss. So I just think it's a situation where people can have better conversations on stuff. Again, I run a show. I do a show and I talk about things. So I'm never going to knock a reporter or anybody who's using what's public information. It wasn't like he, was something somebody secretly told him. You can't sue him for defamation. Public information to broaden the conversation, I'm never going to knock that. But I do realize that in this situation, especially in this new day and age, that it seems that the celebrity and people who are being talked about are biting back. We've seen it obviously at the Oscars. So we're seeing this happen and play out. And to think that these things are not what we're seeing in public view are not the reasons why people are biting back, we'd be foolish to think that's not true.
Right. I respect that. I could see. What really confuses me, though, is to the level that they quote unquote bit back. Because even if WACK called Benzino and was like, yo, they talking about you here in Clubhouse, it's not a shock to Benzino, because the following that Ion has pales in comparison to these other urban channels with 200, 300, 400K followers, with these heterosexual men that were questioning Benzino's sexuality. This story has been already in a different part of the media for a month. Ion got this story late. Yeah. I think it's the messenger. I think that it's not fair that they came down so hard on someone who was queer for reporting this, because Ion wasn't the first one. First of all, Ion didn't even say they were gay or anything. He just literally made the title of the room, and then that's when people came in and everything snowballed. So he didn't even get a chance to fully talk about it. And Ion wasn't talking I could see if Ion broke the story.
I agree. Right.
Ion was speaking about something that people have already beat to the ground, Kev, for the last 3 weeks. I've been hearing it on every channel. I have to fast forward and skip it because it's so redundant.
But also, Ange, not to cut you off, but also again in an interactive room, right? This is not like I meet you at the club and we start scrapping. This is like all I can do. It's not even video. All I can do is try to hurt you with my words. So of course, this is not making
excusing it.
No doubt, it's inexcusable. But only thing somebody can do in a Clubhouse setting to try to hurt you is to say disgusting, vile things.
Right, because then I think okay, so there's a difference. Okay, so Ion, he covered the story, he had the title. Right. What I think people need to be more cognizant and aware of is their ways of communicating. To then come in the room and hurl derogatory, verbal abusive, homophobic slurs at somebody is a little bit, I think, out of control and kind of unfair. Yeah. Even if you feel disrespected or violated that a queer person had you in the title of his room, alluding to you being with another man, you can feel violated, right? Or you could feel disrespected, but there's a way to have a discourse with somebody. Because then when you go into the hate speech, when you go into the verbal assassination, the verbal assault, then you go into the bullying, and then you go into the it starts to get a little bit violent. It starts to get, it's just not,
that's the reason, that's the issue when we talk about social media and social reporting beyond Clubhouse. It could have been in any venue. It could have been on Instagram Live. It could have been on Twitter Spaces. Is that when we have things like this and you have it's never about the individual, right? It could be, but it's about the cheering section. Like in a Clubhouse room, you got hundreds of people on a stage that have the ability to communicate. So people are now taking audio from Clubhouse and putting it on YouTube and larger spaces. So again, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, and different, but what do you expect a Benzino or a WACK to do? Because again, somebody's going here in a different situation and will build their own judgment based off what they hear it a day or two later. And now it's like, oh, I got to protect my who I am. And again, social media weighs too much on what people think. In this day and age, 2022, at the end of the day, so be it. But I just think that on both sides, whether as a reporter or as somebody who the reporting is about, we have to realize that it's a way of dealing with this, But again, when anger and passions fuel, things will be said. Again, I don't agree with it. I think again those words are not inexcusable in any form. But when anger hits, that's going to happen. You're talking about two guys that are in their late 50s, early 60s that were reamed in a time that those are the words you use. And again, it doesn't make it right. Ion's just doing what he has to do because it's not like he broke the story. And even if he did break the story, so be it. Challenge, you got a problem with it. There's ways of challenging it. Just that it's bigger than just those three people, because hundreds of thousands of people will hear that interview and everybody will not have the same conversation we're having, and they will feel that they can use it. Similar to what you felt a few weeks ago when the Will and Chris Rock thing. Oh, now comedians and people have to watch, what they say on stage because they might get slapped or even worse. So again, no difference here. It's bigger than the parties involved.
Right.
Other people listening who doesn't necessarily have the same disciplines or have the discipline to be, hey, listen, I'm just, that's between them. I'm not going to live my life that way. Now it gives a gateway to some folks to feel like they can say those nasty and vile things.
Right. It's yeah, I just think that, and then it spiraled into other rooms in the hallway about the LGBTQIA plus heterosexual men. It started to become divisive. It started to become one community against another, and I just feel like
it spawns. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I just feel like we all need to band together and try to understand each other and be there for each other and not be so quick to tear each other down. Right. I just think that it kind of sucked for Ion because it was more so like I just think it was just the messenger. I think that he was being personally, I could be wrong, but I think, if you have that same energy for everybody that was reporting on it, not just the guy who's gay. All right, so let's go into this story while we're on, I guess, like, I don't want to say, well, look, let me just
easy. Go ahead.
Let me just go into this. Are you aware of the Gilly the Kid versus Wiz Khalifa?
Oh wow, I've really been out the loop. Tell me about this along with all your audience.
All right, so speaking of men feeling uncomfortable with other men, I'm looking for this right now in the Shade Room. All right, so what happened was Wiz Khalifa, he's not the most brolic guy in the world. He's been in the gym lately. And so, he decided, hold on, Gilly the Kid, hold on one second. All right, so, Gilly the Kid is like a jokester. And Wiz Khalifa has been in the gym lately, so he's been posting, himself working out and stuff like that. And, he's skinny, was, kind of slim. And he's been shirtless with some tight shorts on at the gym. So Gilly the Kid fell away. Hold on. All right, let's see. I'm trying to look for this original video because they keep going back and forth with each other. Basically, Gilly, he got on Instagram like, yo, fam, put some shorts on or whatever the case may be. And so,
offended Wiz.
What happened?
And Wiz was offended.
Well, not really offended. He was basically like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my page. Like, I'm doing what I can't even find it. This is give me one moment. Let me see. I'm just looking because there's so many different like versions, because every time one of them answers back the other one, They always put like a different post up. So it's like one post about
Gilly
it, then
also
1,000
does
posts.
right. Gilly also does a show, $1 million Worth of Game, him and Wallow. So Gilly, again, is somebody who's transformed himself to a media personality. So again, very similar, and not so much similar, but in a way like people responding back to the comments. Again, we're in a world now where, if you're reporting something or you're making a comment on something and that person is tagged or hears it, expect somebody to bite back. Again,
So Gilly says, put some shorts on, whatever the case may be. Wiz Khalifa was like, whatever. So Gilly responds and he goes, you tell the N-word, put some shorts on. He tells Instagram you're bullying him and get your page deactivated. N-word, I was playing. These rappers too, PUSSY. So then Wiz Khalifa had responded back like basically saying like, child, I ain't get that, he said something to the effect like kind of condescending, like he goes, I ain't get that child's Instagram deleted. I even offered to help him get his page back and he declined. So Gilly the Kid jumps back online and he's like, basically, the way you talk, you got to stand on what you say. He was like, yeah, you and your manager called me yesterday, like begging to have a conversation. I started a new page. He was like, I don't need you to get my account back. So I don't know if maybe it was Wiz Khalifa's fans that reported him for saying that. But I'm just going to look for a picture of what he looked like in the attire since I can't find it on the Shade Room. Wiz Khalifa
we them boys.
Let's see.
Hold up.
I don't know, man. All right, so he had on.
Did he have the braids or did he had the afro out?
He had on kind of like something a little bit like that, but tighty white, like even more tight. Like it was it was kind of a lot. You know what I'm saying?
The man's working out. He's feeling good about himself. Listen. Social media is a place for personal expression, right?
Right.
But with that personal expression, again, it's social, it's not private. So with that personal expression, you have to realize that,
right,
you have a comment. Now, if you're comfortable with yourself, so what?
Right.
I think we've all had social media pics of things that we felt looked good and somebody commented.
I don't know. Can you see it? Can you see him?
Yeah.
He had like these small shorts on.
Well, he should have been wearing some socks. You should not be barefoot in no gym. We're still in COVID. But
wait,
that's his own personal gym. But my thing is like,
hold on.
Okay.
I love you, Wiz Khalifa, man. I love you, brother. You know what I mean? I'm still riding around, banging black and yellow. And when I see you again, you a legend, man. It's Pennsylvania, baby. Philly to Pittsburgh, but I had to unfollow on the day, man. Every time I come on my page, man, you in your draws, man. You giving up strap and ball action, man. Every day, man, I can't do 8 balls in the corner pocket every day when I wake up, man. So, I had to unfollow you, play. I love you, though. Wiz Khalifa, man, I love you, brother.
Go ahead, Kev.
I didn't have any problem with Gully said. Come on. Listen, I understand. Listen, everybody, maybe Wiz is a little sensitive about his physique. Listen, people, their journeys are their journeys. But I'm sure these two guys know each other, or at least have met, and for that to even escalate, like, are we really? I don't know. I'm not going to use the word that Gilly said, but I think we all get a little in our feelings. Like, he didn't say anything. That, I don't know. I didn't find it appealing.
This is what Wiz Khalifa said.
Telling me to put clothes on in the gym or unfollowing me because I make them uncomfortable. Y'all the same who laughed at people when they read in high school or said that you sound stupid because you sound smart. Y'all are negative. And you know what I do with negativity? See ya.
That was his response. And then Gilly's page got clipped.
Yeah. Well, he has to. Oh, really? Okay. That all right. He has the right to say that because it is his page. But I just think that.
And then after that, Gilly's page got clipped on Instagram.
Wow.
So then Gilly was like, yo, you joke on these dudes.
bullying.
And then that's when Gilly was like, then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes. And then that's when Gilly was like, yo, you know, you joke on these dudes I guess he's like, you
Right.
joke on these dudes, they PUSSY, you know, these rappers are sensitive, this, that, and the third. So Gilly said, hold on.
Man. Two. I got 100,000 followers in 8 hours, right? You know, no rip down. You know, I talk to that super soft, extra sensitive, suave cotton. Right? He said, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings. He said, people was laughing at me, Gilly. I don't like to be laughed at. He said, I felt like you was bringing down another black man. It's like, I told you to put some drawers on. I mean, because I told you to put some shorts over top of your drawers. I'm bringing down another black man. Yeah, so extra super soft, cottony swab. So good you can't own a real back though, man. I'm streets, man. Got 30-something million followers and 400 comments. They don't matter no more. You hear me? They don't matter, baby. Plus our money already. Wiz Khalifa, man. I love you.
Yeah, so basically, you know, I don't know. I guess I guess they spoke and had a conversation about it. And now he says he got a new page. Look.
I didn't get that child's Instagram taken down now. I'm from the streets, man, where, you got to stand on what you do and say. You got to stand on that now. You put that energy out there, you got to stand on it. Another thing, y'all think I should post his manager text messages from last night apologizing for him? Okay, see, you didn't know they did that. You didn't know Will did that. You didn't know Will text me last night and apologized because he didn't know that you would do something like that. See, you done put your foot in your mouth, man. And the bottom line is, your exact words was, I was hurt. I was extremely hurt. So my Instagram team, I'm strong over there. But I can get your page back. Let's just sit down and talk, Gilly. And I told you, fuck you in that page. What you talking about? I decline. You right, I decline. You in that page. I heard somebody.
So that he's saying that in response to Wiz Khalifa saying, I didn't get that child's Instagram deleted. I even offered to help him get his page back and he declined. So I guess, the manager got on the phone with Gilly and he's sharing their conversation. Gilly got a new page now. And I don't know. I just think it's so, people are so sensitive.
I agree. I mean, going back to the original comment from Gilly, I didn't find it anything negative. Like, this is Gilly. I mean, it's not like this is Gilly's personality. It's just like Chris Rock with the joke, right? It wasn't done in malice. He didn't come at this man.
Right.
Again, probably he said something and probably in an admiration way because he's working out. He's getting in shape. A lot of black men are dying because of bad health and diabetes and hypertension. Right. So he's working out. He's changing his body. So he just said, made a comment about, the underwear. For the record, I wear drawers like that. I wear like the, the silk, because that's just me. They very fitted. But that's what he wanted to say. But to act like that was negative, and the man even actually said, Gilly, like, yo, you a legend. He didn't. Right. He didn't. I don't know. Like I said again, we live in a different age, and I'm a man of a certain age, so I kind of lean on Gilly. It's a difference between bullying and a joke.
Absolutely.
If everything we say, then we might as well just stop talking to people because if that's the case, everything that's going to come out now is you're bullying me.
Yeah.
So, and he's right. He's going to have to live that because, again, the rap game, and just to get on that a little bit, in my opinion, is like it presents a lot of stereotypes that these young boys and girls try to live up to, and these artists are not living that. They're just recording that. And again, like I said, for that to be even a story and for somebody to take that out of line, it's just ridiculous. I agree. I can't get with Wiz on this one.
Same. I can't either. Man, listen. All right. Speaking of Chris Rock, here we go. All right. So if you guys are following the saga, it's almost like I know everybody is Will Smith and Chris Rock out, but more things are happening. So what new? All right. So we know that Will has been banned for 10 years from. Correct. Well, I don't know if we covered that. We know he resigned. Now he's been banned for 10 years. Right. Netflix and his other projects are slowing down.
Pause.
Yeah, pause, which I told you was going to happen. I said how it's going to be a trickle effect. Hollywood is not going to be effing with Will after this.
Right.
And so Chris had did a show, and he said he has a whole show to talk about what happened, but he ain't talk about nothing until he gets paid. Did you hear about that?
I did. I don't necessarily. I think people perceive that he gets paid off the slap. I don't think that's what he meant. I just think that Chris realizes. Listen, Chris Rock's a very intelligent individual, right? And people, I was briefly did somebody's quick live today, and they were mentioning, well, Chris Rock's getting paid off this. No, Chris Rock did not need this money. So nobody wants to take a slap at that level of stardom on a global stage for a couple dollars. It wasn't like this was like boo-boo comedian and like, oh, now I'm rich. This guy was top of the food chain. I think Chris Rock, and again, what he's come out his own self and said he's dealt with issues in his past where he speaks to a psychiatrist daily. I think he's trying to process this. That's why you hear his brother Tony Rock and others that are close to him really speaking out, because it's obviously something that he's having a time dealing with. Now, again, the Will Smith thing, a lot of things have come out about Will Smith, about Jada not wanting to get married, and some issue with some video that he didn't want to get recorded, and like he was being mentally abused. And then people,
I didn't watch that. Tell me about that. I heard it, but I didn't watch it. What happened with that now? Was this recently?
It came out last week. It was a clip, I guess a couple years ago, from Jada was they were having issues, marital issues, and she was on Red Table Talk with some psychiatrist, a doctor that was helping them through their marriage. And then Jada wanted to film Will giving validation to the doctor. Will declined. He said, you can't post me on your social media. Social media is my brand. You just can't do that. Just start recording me. And she, Jada took offense to it. But the reality is that, these people obviously are dealing with something, but they're dealing with it in person. And then obviously we know the last time I think we spoke, Jada came out and said, I'm not a damsel in distress. Will overreacted, which I think to me is the ultimate slap in the face. Again, if I'm with my lady and something like this happens and I'm like, I got to defend her, just like I'm trying to protect her, she's got to protect me.
Exactly. Not to cut you off. If my husband is wrong, right, or indifferent in the public, I got my husband's back.
Right.
I don't care if I thought he was wrong. I'm gonna tell the public I thought he was right. I'm gonna stand behind him, and then when we get in
have that conversation in public, right?
No, then when we get in the house, I'm be like, "You stupid mother effer," and then we can fight. But when we out there in front of people, that is my family. That's my husband. I'm gonna stand by him. He's dealing with certain things. We're gonna deal with
protection, Angie. Like again, if I'm we together. And you lose your cool, it's my job to bring you back. No, Angie, right? Able to handle it. Vice versa, if I lose my cool, hey Kev, no, handle this another time.
I always thought that was strange, because if that was my husband, if he would have went on stage and slapped the ish out of somebody and then sat down, I would have pulled him to the bathroom. I would have pulled him away from that situation and got him to calm down. And that whole thing was just so strange.
Well, that's a loving husband or wife. And I'm not saying that she don't love her. I'm not going that route. But somebody who loves the person they're with is not going to let them do something drastic, diabolical. Unless, again, I don't know what was going through Will's mind. He just lost his cool. And there are people like Paul Rodriguez and other people who are coming out saying that Will, has had a temper. Paul Rodriguez made a comment. He played Dr. Freddie Pacheco in the Ali movie, and he said that Will had, he felt Will's wrath. Same thing with Tommy Davidson, who's had a book that came out a couple years ago that resurfaced about him and Will Smith getting into it in a trailer on the movie Woo, which Jada Pinkett played in. So people are coming out and saying all of a sudden that, this is not, you might think of it as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Will, but Will has been, kind of like, West Philly Will. And if that's the case, everything that Will has put together his whole life, which in my opinion, in so many ways has been kind of choreographed, all of a sudden you see the dark side. And when you see the dark side, just like a lot of Disney actors and actresses who all of a sudden get on drugs. They're not
look at Britney Spears.
Right. They're not the cute, cuddly kids anymore. It brings a bad taste. Consequently, we all know, being people of color, we got to move in a different route. We got to be better. We have to control ourselves a little better. And it's not to say that's right or wrong, because we're all human, but that's just the game that happens. So, yeah, go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, I was listening to this podcast yesterday, I was listening to it today while I was food shopping, because it drops on Friday, and I didn't get a chance to listen to it, and they were like, "Look, if it's one place that you don't slap the shit out of somebody, it's 3 places: a funeral, a wedding, and the Oscars." You just don't slap the shit out of somebody at the Oscars.
Even if you think you can get away with it, you got to understand and know that's not going to be in my best light. And
anywhere but there.
Right.
And like, even one of the podcasters said, the way that he yelled at Chris Rock, he sounded stern enough. He sounded like he meant business. He could have just yelled. Even if you would have yelled obscenities across the room at Chris Rock, you could have got your point across. But
that's a very good point you make. What was worse, the yell or the slap?
Slapping the shit out of somebody on stage, I think, is more of a violation.
So you think if he just yelled, that he wouldn't be getting his ridicule?
Maybe I think if he would have yelled expletives at him, he still would have got his point across to Chris. But slapping the shit out of him and then yelling expletives at the stage, it was just too much.
Yeah,
it was too much.
Yeah,
he could have just chose one.
Yeah, I mean, I as I sit back and armchair quarterback this thing for the last few weeks, I don't think he gets the 10-year suspension with the yell, because they can always edit that out, and people can deny that it happened and not happen. But I think he still gets some type of disciplinary action, because it was an interruption of a greater kind.
I agree with Ed.
That, personally, in my opinion, I think the way it played out, I think if he just slapped him and sat back down and say a word, the way Chris acted, I don't know if people sit back today and go, was it real or was it not? I think what validated
was the yelling.
Was the yelling. I really think if he just would have slapped him personally,
they could have thought that it was part of the.
Chris is not going to talk about it, and Will didn't talk about it, nobody would know. They'd just be all, hyperbole, or what happened? Was it real? Was it? It'd be like WWE. So I really believe, in my opinion, it was the yell that was worse than the slap.
The yell solidified to everybody that he was serious about it. Because everybody, but if you think about it, I would rather get yelled at than assaulted. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but yeah, that whole thing.
At this stage of the game, it's all about perception, right? So again, the reason why Chris Rock is processing, and Chris Rock was at a lawyer's office, a big time lawyer's office this past week that does litigation. So I don't know what that's about. It could be nothing, but hey, people are following Chris Rock's move. But the perception that is embarrassing and insulting to Chris is that he got slapped and cussed out the Oscars. Perception wouldn't be great if more than half people thought it was a stunt, because you would never know.
Yeah,
it was a stunt, because the way Chris reacted, wow, I just got, he kept it going. So it's not, in this case, it wasn't like Will pulled out a gat and started bucking shots at Chris Rock. But the thing is that the perception that, you know what, any man or any person, especially me speaking as a man, is embarrassing, because again, it's 2 things you can do to somebody that, to me, are the ultimate, like, oh, we can't have that.
Deal breakers.
At me, spit on me, and one is slap me. You remember in France, they used to have duels. You slap somebody had to die after that. So what I'm trying to say is that, if it was just the perception, wow, we don't know. I don't know if this becomes drama, because the Oscars don't want to deal with this.
Look what Ed Lover says. I agree with him for this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Jump on. Shut up, y'all. So you mean to tell me you can jump on stage, slap the shit out of somebody, scream expletives right in the audience, scare everybody in there, still win an award, and all you get What is this, 10 years? 10 years that you can't come to the Academy Awards. That's all you get. If I'd have did that shit, I'd have got 10 years in fucking jail. The Academy, you weak, you weak, you weak. That sucks, man. For real, that's all. 10 years, you ain't gonna take the statuette back. You think he give a fuck about not going to the Academy Awards for 10 years? He wasn't going anywhere. Some fucking bullshit. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourselves. 10 years, that's it. No jail, no nothing. I hope Chris Rock sued the shit out of y'all punk asses. Fuck out of here. Good, son.
He couldn't have said it better. That's my opinion. Well, same. I feel the exact same way as I love her.
I mean,
you scared the shit out of everybody in that building. Like, it's more than just Chris Rock and Will. Like,
I don't think people were scared. I mean,
people were scared. People were scared.
Well, listen, it'd be different if he pulled out a weapon or he hit him with the Oscar.
But we're speaking from our POV. We're desensitized to this because of the communities that we're from. Yeah, these people they're not used to seeing somebody get the shit slapped out of them on a regular basis.
I don't know about that, Angie. I mean, I think when I hear like, you know, the I forgot the lady, one of the people, one of the hosts.
It was Amy Schumer. She said she was traumatized. Right.
Yeah,
I believe it.
I don't buy that. Amy Schumer's from Manhattan. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh wow, because she slapped him. Now again, it was uncomfortable.
Wanda Sykes said she was traumatized too.
Wanda Sykes is from the hood. And I don't listen. I hear what you're saying. And
I do think that people were, look, you got to think about it.
They gave the man a standing ovation 20 minutes later. If they were that traumatized, they'd be heading for the exit. Would you sit somewhere if you was traumatized and scared? I think Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes did the rest of the show. They went to the after parties. Right?
I think people were shook up, but I think the alcohol that was served and the way that they handled the situation probably loosened people up. I mean, we have different opinions, but I do.
Lesbians, they know how to act. Everybody wants to have an opinion on something because
I do think people, right? But I do think that there were a percentage of people in there that was shaken up behind that.
I don't believe.
I do.
I do. If I was shaken up and scared for my life, like
I didn't say all of that.
I'll pull my limo. I'm out. I'll watch the rest of this shit on TV. No, they stayed and gave the man. If they were that scared when he came up and got Will Smith Oscar, I ain't saying shit. Man might come.
No, but can I say something? I didn't say the entire percentage of the room was scared for their life and heading for the exit. But I do think, based on the opinions that we heard, like based on certain people's, you know, I'm not saying 99.9% of the room was all scared and they all should have headed for the exit because they treated it like somebody was
crazy black man in here.
Right. I'm not saying it was to that degree. But I do think there was a percentage of people that was a little bit shaken up because they're not used to that. That's the most prestigious event of the entire year, and they're not expecting somebody to get the shit slapped out of them. So I do think that, because like even me, like I don't like violence, and even though I'm desensitized, I mean, I have friends that I grew up that got murdered. You know what I'm saying? I've been to whatever.
You don't want to see that. No,
I don't want to see violence.
I get you on that. I'm only joking, but what I mean is that what Ed Love is saying, and I understand what Ed is saying, but at the end of the day, what did he want the Oscars to do? Throw Will Smith in jail for 25 to life?
He still might get some jail time though, Kev. If this we still seeing this. Wait, didn't he get? Hold on, didn't he get?
You imagine
Wait, hold on.
Going to jail.
Hold on. Didn't he check into a rehab? That was like the newest news with this case.
I sent you that earlier. Yes, he checked into a rehab, but I knew that was going to happen because that's what celebrities do. When they make stupid bonehead decisions, they go to Betty Ford or something like that, and they sit there for 21 days, and he comes down and sits down with Oprah, and he talks about how he's changed man now, and he's dealing with his anger. But
I wonder if he has a substance abuse problem or he just went to rehab for anger management.
I think, again, this man is a PR. He's radioactive right now, right? When you're on the top of the food chain like Will Smith, right? Productions and scripts come at you a mile a minute. Once houses and groups start pulling scripts and pausing projects,
they go into action mode.
Right, the machine that
Operation. Let's fix this.
Right, let's think about it from our perspective.
Because everybody's losing money now.
Exactly, I was going to say that if your job said, you know what, we can't pay you because our money churn, but we got to find a way to get this thing going. The
cash cow money is slowing up. He's the cash cow. I do believe that.
Right. Yeah.
No, I do believe that. But I also do think on a personal level, he is going through something for him to have that type of erratic behavior like that. Because that's not normal. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's going through what he's been going through. And people want to equate it to his wife.
No, but my question,
easy mark. Okay.
Right. But my question is, I wonder if it's associated with substance abuse or is it just psychological issues? Because like for me, I'm just curious, you know, like I wonder, is it, what exactly is it? Is it because like, you know, like when you watch the Kanye West documentary, right. You know, the public saw a lot of his erratic behavior, but we didn't know until he shared with us that after he got liposuction, he became addicted to OxyContin pills. We didn't know he had a substance abuse issue briefly. So I'm kind of wondering, like, I guess that's like the journalist in me or the interviewer in me. Like, I know those are questions that Oprah will ask. Like, if he sits, that's why I don't want him to do the Red Table Talk with Jada. I want him to do it with Oprah because Oprah's going to get in there. That would be
the worst thing he can do.
Jada's not going to get the meat and potatoes like Oprah. Nobody could do it like her. Oprah's going to ask, were you... And even though, you know, some men, they don't care about all that. They might want to hear the surface stuff. I think, or it's not even like a men-women thing. I think certain percentage of people, like I care enough to want to know it all. Like, are you dealing with substance abuse? Are you?
Here's my thing, Angie. I'm going to give you my thing. I think if we look back at this situation, right? If we go back, Will and Jada have been married, 22, 20, 23 years, something like that. Late 90s, right? Now, Jada Pinkett Smith was not like up for, like she wasn't like, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow or something like that. But she was in a lot of, when you think about our communities that we live in and we grew up in, she was in a lot of major classics.
Yeah.
You know, Men's Society, Set It Off. Yep. All these films she was in, right? So in A Different World. So
Rocking with Tupac.
Right. So Jada had her following, right? Will was a guy that was on the come up. Fresh Prince. He had already did Independence Day. He was on the come up, right? So you get with this guy, right? You equate this power couple. He keeps going up. He keeps ascending. You kind of level out. What I believe, in my opinion, and I'm like everybody else, I'm sitting here guesstimating too. I think, unfortunately, what we're seeing is a husband and wife couple who are experiencing jealousies amongst each other. I think Jada's looking at Will's career and going, you know, my claim to fame is married to Will Smith. Will Smith is going from parents don't understand to being number one guy in Hollywood before all this happened. And I think, again, in some certain situations, I think that ball is Jada Pinkett. That's why, again, why else would you explain using your family's business, not just the husband, but the son and his want to be, emancipated, all this stuff. Why would you put this on a TV show on Facebook just for exposure? It's not about money. It's got to be about exposure. It's about having my own. I want to get back some of that celebrity that I feel like you're dimming my light. And I think, again, it becomes a situation where, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a jealousy. Because why? Again, is with these folks, it's not about commerce. And a lot of people who are watching this stuff, they equate money. Oh, well, Chris Rock is making money off the shows now. And when they go on Red Table, it's not about money at this level. These people, right. Money is good for 3-4 generations. This is about fame. This is about exposure. This is about wanting to be the best at what you do. And why would you put your family business out there on social media of all places? Yeah. On the one of the number one actors in the world. It just don't make sense unless you just don't like me or you got a problem with my success because it's not your success. And I just think that's the reason. I don't necessarily know Will Smith has any personal problems or any drugs.
No, I'm not saying that. Like for me, I would, I'm just listing some of the questions that if I was interviewing him, I would want to, ask about that.
Right.
But, whatever's stirring the pot, that's igniting the anger and the outbursts and the explosives, whether it's being assisted by a substance or not. I would love to know what he's working on in rehab, and I'm sure they do have a lot of marital.
His wife. They both had an open relationship, but Will Smith was rumored to have been dating Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Hold on. Just let me land real quick. No, I was going to say, like, in rehab, I know he's probably, like, addressing, the deeper marital problems that they have, the family problems. And, even the podcast that I was listening to today, they were saying, like, for Will to be so explosive, it's like, you guys like put your business out there like for the public. So I think when you kind of open the door to the issues that are going on behind the scenes, it's like everybody has a segue. Everybody has a door now to insert their opinion.
Your woman is constantly emasculating you. If you're a man and you're married to a woman and everything you seem to do doesn't make her happy, and I've been married to this woman for almost 25 years, and she gives me a look, and that look triggers me because I'm tired of her acting like I'm not a man or I can't protect or support her. And I do that. And then you come back a week or two later and say, oh, I think you overreacted.
That was foul.
That's why the man's losing his mind. In my opinion, I know people not to this level that have been with women, and no matter what they did, they had to go to Mr. Child's every night. They had to drive the newest car every year. It just wasn't enough to live in a 2-family condo. You had to have a 4-room duplex. You can't keep up that. And even a guy at that level of success is dealing with this. And that's the sad part. And the world knows it now. So it's embarrassing to him. And it takes away the shine. The same way Chris Rock feels about the slap. It's not about the money. I got to deal with this every day. My kids have to deal with this. Social media, my children. I got 2 daughters. It's there's no winners here.
I also think, and then we're gonna get off this because I'm kind of over this, but more stuff keeps coming out, so we got to keep covering it. Yeah. But also with, I forgot what I was gonna say. My short-term memory. It was something about Chris Rock. I was gonna say. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. The podcast I was listening to also brought up another point. They did some research and they just saw Chris Rock and Will Smith over the years from when they were in their early 20s to now. So there was a friendship there, and that's even more sad because they were friends. So it's kind of like I'm sad for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
no winners.
Will, Chris, Jada, this whole thing, and even the kids now, because the kids got to deal with their parents in the line. Like this whole thing is just real messy, and they wonder why Willow Smith is making all these gothic. Did you see Willow Smith's new video?
Yeah.
God bless them all. I think that they'll pull through. I never really of course, I was aware of their relationship and I knew what was going on. But I was never really I didn't really follow their relationship to the T like that. I didn't tune into every red table talk. I didn't really.
One thing, Ange, and anybody who's watching, listen, leaks happen for a reason. Somebody is springing these leaks. They just don't come out of nowhere. So don't think that no. In Hollywood, somebody's planting the leak for it to be sprung, for somebody to hear it. So,
and on that note, I'm sure we'll have another story to talk about with this. I'm so sure something else going to come out. He's going to do an interview. Somebody going to be doing something. All right, let's get into this real quick. Or you know what? Let's get into this while we're on pop culture. Let's get into this. J-Lo is now engaged to Ben Affleck for the second time.
Oh my gosh.
What you think about that, Kev? Wait, before you give your opinion, I just want to come to y'all with a brief little reset. Everybody, follow and subscribe to the channel, please. Give it a like. Tap in with Kev. He's at 950 Kev on Instagram. I'm at All Things Angie's World. All the stuff is going to be in the description. Please like this video and please share it because it's going to help A-List After Dark get into the algorithm on YouTube. And if you support what we got going on, or if you enjoy this video, please like the video. Please share it to as many people as you can. Shout out to Twitter. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to YouTube. We've been getting some good views on Twitter too.
Exactly.
Kev,
great job, Ange.
Thank you. So do you. So thank you guys, for liking and sharing the video, and let's push us into the algorithm, please. All right, Kev, go ahead. J-Lo and Ben.
You know what? I really don't. I can cuss here. I really don't give a fuck. The thing with these two is like, when it comes to J-Lo, I guess she's a hopeless romantic. Mark Anthony, Mark Anthony, A-Rod, who was friends with her and Mark Anthony. Obviously, before that, Diddy. You know what? I will say this about J-Lo. I will say this. There must be something about, as the great what's my man's name?
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule said, thank you. It must be the ass, because everybody goes crazy for J-Lo. Started with Diddy. We know about Ben. She was married to Mark Anthony. I think she was married to some waiter at one point. I don't.
The dancer.
The dancer. Thank you. I really don't have it's just, go and live your life. I mean, but, like, to me, that, I guess they're still public, but J-Lo and Ben are in their 50s. They've moved out that channel. Their audience that was caring about, the green dress and all that years ago, people worry about putting their kids through college and taking care of 401ks. Somebody got no time to be worrying about you dating Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's Boston ass family probably still don't like you. Go right ahead. Just live your life. But it's, I didn't care about her with Ava. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
For the record, I was the audience that liked J-Lo in the green dress and was involved in all her relationships.
Do you really? Is it like, does it matter saying like, oh, J-Lo and Ben? Like,
I don't think it hits the same. But there are some hardcore J-Lo fans, like some homegirls of mine are like, oh my God, because we were talking about it in the ladies group chat that I'm in, and everybody was like, oh, some people were like, I wish that they I always wanted them to be together, and now like they're together.
He got no personality, he got no swag. What would make them feel like, oh wow, Ben? Like,
I don't know. That's their opinion. My person that I would want J-Lo with, I'm trying to think of who my favorite significant other is. I liked her with A-Rod. I think they made a cute couple, but from what I heard, A-Rod was a habitual cheater. And I've heard this from major, like, people who are in the socialite group who live in LA, say that amongst that group, like, people, he's known to be a cheater.
Right,
so
but think about it though, Ange.
But let me land, Kev. I know you're excited, but let me land. We go. I'll give you back. Yeah, I'll give you back the ball. But so like I've heard that that Ben what's his name? A-Rod is a habitual cheater. Yeah. So I really wouldn't want, you know what I'm saying, J-Lo to end up with somebody who is a habitual cheater. And then it was funny because when they were talking about their relation, I think it was like on Twitter or it was one of the platforms where somebody said, oh, we thought that J-Lo was going to marry A-Rod. They were going to be together forever or something. And Mark Anthony inserted himself into it and just put like laugh out loud. So I thought that was funny but they have a great relationship, Mark Anthony and J-Lo. I just think that, I know you're going to talk. You got this, Kev. I'm going to give you the floor. But I think that J-Lo and Mark Anthony have a great co-parenting relationship. And probably during her relationship with A-Rod, she probably was like confiding in Mark Anthony and telling him this. So I think when Mark Anthony inserted himself and put the laugh out loud, it's like, nah, J-Lo would never end up with him. I don't think he was putting laugh out loud like, yeah, I'm jumping on the J-Lo can't keep a man train. I don't think he was putting laugh out loud for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. My opinion about them being engaged, I don't think it hits. I don't think it hits the same like it did like the Jenny and the Block days when he was rubbing her butt on the boat with the locks and stuff like that. I don't think it's like pop culture like that because, you know, she was in her 20s and 30s now. She's in her 50s. So it's like a little bit of an older news. I do think that, you know, if she feel like, you know, she wanted to get back with him, if she feels like it's a happily ever after thing, do you. I did like her with A-Rod on the outside, but if he's a cheater, I don't want her with him. Definitely not Diddy. After all these years, he kept trying to go back in. She doesn't want you, Diddy. So that's not going to happen. And everybody else, like Mark Anthony, no. I just think they're friends at this point. And yeah, I mean, oh, and another thing. I don't want to make this a man versus woman thing because we have a couple more things to go through. But I've always resented the J-Lo can't keep a man narrative when men champion Future, who started 7 families and can't keep a woman to save his life. So don't champion Future and say that he's the man when he's trying to start 7 families and can't keep a woman. And just because J-Lo is always in a relationship and maybe had some failed marriages, she got 1 baby daddy, 2 kids, and she's always getting a ring. You know what I'm saying? She's Future, on the other hand, don't champion him, but then put down J-Lo. I'm not saying you do it, but I don't like that narrative. You understand what I'm saying? Because whatever you want to give J-Lo, you better turn around and say Future can't keep a woman to save his life if you say that about J-Lo. So that's my opinion, and I'm going to give it back to you, Kev.
Okay. I got you.
I had to get everything out because I know I already know.
Listen, I felt the 6 train run on my head. Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. All right. God bless him. I hope it lasts a lifetime. But taking J-Lo and the characters out of it, you're married, right? You're married to a guy, and your husband has a female. You have a female friend that's a couple friend of you guys. You and your husband break up. That female friend starts dating your ex-husband. Okay? They're dating your ex-husband after you.
Who did that?
Mark Anthony and Alex Rodriguez were friends. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So all of a sudden, J-Lo and Mark Anthony break up, and the person I don't know if they confided like that, but the person who knew, who was very close to me in the situation, now you go date my ex-wife. Okay? So, of course, when it don't work out, I'm going to laugh because I'm probably told you the same stories that you experienced now with this woman. Consequently, she goes back to a guy who was married and had issues with his wife, and probably J-Lo, BX probably was, doing what she got to do, and he went back and now he's engaged to her. So it's a circle, and again, this is not about J-Lo. J-Lo live her life any way she want. I'm just saying, as people, as relationships for normal brick and mortar everyday folks, don't go in circles with relationships. Don't make entanglements, Jada Smith. But do things, start fresh, continue to grow. There's no growth here. You're dating a man, you married, then you get divorced, you're dating a guy y'all were friends with. Now you go back to the guy. Yeah, things can happen, but there's no growth. And maybe in her world it can work, but in a normal and most of our viewers' world, that's not productive. You go date a man. Let your man go find your girlfriend once y'all break up, and let's see what you do.
Oh no, I'm going ballistic. I will effing lose it. I don't play that. That's why I don't even introduce chicks to anybody I'm dealing with. Because if a bitch try to play, oh no, I don't do those things. It's
really Angie's after dark now.
Listen, I'm killing everybody. Listen, YouTube, I'm just saying figuratively, not literally, please.
We're acting here with that.
Yeah, this is for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, I don't play that shit. I don't. Better not ever. Well, good luck to J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Let's move on to another pop story, and then we're gonna go into the story about Tekashi, and then we'll end with your story, Kev. All right, so this is another story in pop culture news. Here we go. North West meets Pete Davidson. So apparently, TMZ, they were riding around Pete on a golf cart. It was Pete Davidson was driving a pink golf cart, and Northwest was sitting on Pete Davidson's lap. TMZ was able they were busting like a left turn, and TMZ was all up in the camera, all in there, and you see like, you know, him, Pete Davidson driving, and little North is sitting on his lap.
Right.
All right, well, that kind of exploded on Clubhouse, where a lot of guys were upset, saying like, you don't let nobody sit on your, like, first of all, they were upset that Northwest met Pete Davidson, and they were also upset that she was sitting on his lap. What you think?
Listen, you know, what did they expect? What did they expect Pete Davidson to do? Right? He's dating the mother, a woman with 4 kids. If a healthy relationship, they seem to be moving out of just the dating stage and becoming more serious. Well, what do you think is going to happen?
He's got 3 tattoos of her on his body and 1 burned name of her on his chest. Obviously, he thinks this is going to be forever.
He must got some hellified coochie too, but I digress.
God.
But what do they expect him to do? Like, the girl would drive the car herself. I mean, listen, people got to get over this thing. Like, if you're a man and you have kids with a woman and y'all break up and she moves on to another real relationship, not a jump off, wouldn't you want that man and that woman's life to be respectful and be kind to your kids? I mean, nobody's saying he's disciplining the kids. They didn't like, oh, North, you shouldn't turn like that and hit it with a belt. Right. He's just being, listen, this is the woman I'm with. If I love this woman, like I love her kids even more. So we got to get over this thing. Like, you know, and people like, oh, yeah, it be the same dudes in these rooms and these areas. They got 5 kids and don't take care of their kids, don't even know where their kids are at, who's feeding their kids, but they want to holler about what Kanye and Pete Davidson do. Stop it. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Oh, I'm on the floor. All right, look, we're going to move on to this over here. I don't even want to say this guy's name, but whatever. This is what it is. All right. He tries to return to music. All right. Now look at this, Kev. I'm gonna put his new little. If I lose you, Kev, I'm coming right back in because this computer be acting up. So if I drop, just talk to them until I come back in.
I got you.
All right. Hold on. All right. So. Let's see what's going on here. All right. You see it?
No.
All right, give me 1 second. Me over here with the produce skills over here. All right, give me 1 moment. I'm needing to understand why it's not sharing with you. All right.
But obviously the story is that he made a video, a new music video. And again, look, at the end of the day, I understand in a certain time in my life, yeah, that I might have a different conversation that I am having with you now. But at the end of the day, you know, most of these guys, or a lot of them, not most, a lot of them are just entertainers. What was he gonna do? What did people think he was gonna do? Go work at Home Depot? He's an artist. He's gonna go perform. Now you have the right and to not buy his music because you feel like he cheated or he's a snitch or what. So be it. But
yo, Kev, I'll be right back because it's not letting me come out of this thing. Talk to them real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back.
Yeah, obviously he's gonna continue to do what he wants to do, but it's not my style of music, so it's irrelevant to me. But the fact of the matter is that somebody is funding these projects. And again, the way you kind of get over that, if you feel like, yo, I'm not supporting that because of what he did and what he represented, then don't buy his music. And if you don't buy his music or you don't download it, then people won't produce it. So
can you still see me, Kev?
I see you.
All right, it's not right now. I got the share screen like right in front of me, and it's not letting me close it out, so I can't really see you. But I'll try to like continue the broadcast here. I'm gonna put it on here, so you guys can see this because I got an opinion. Oh no! All right. All right. Look at this. Okay, hold on. Can you see? Can y'all see this?
Yeah, I'm trying not to see it, but go ahead. I can see it.
All right, I'm done. Okay. There's so much going on. The I wish I could have showed y'all on this thing. The pandemic gloves, the clapping, the cha-cha, like him with like 4 extras behind him clapping with pandemic gloves on. Now all of a sudden he's dressed like there's a lot of blue. There's a blue hue to the whole thing, and he's talking about he outside. He still didn't get touched. What? I don't know what's happening. I can't. But go ahead, Kev.
Listen, like I said, it don't affect me one iota. You know, I know a lot of people have opinions, people who live by a certain code, and I respect that. People I know, but again, what do you think he was going to do? This is not, you know, we're not, you know, these artists are not living in a day and age where it's like, you know, even though we see people unfortunately are getting killed, you know, artists, what have you, but he's an entertainer. I mean,
I wish he would. I wish he wouldn't be.
It mind boggled me when he was at his height and he was getting involved with street shit. It's like, what are you doing? You're an entertainer. You know,
my thing is the street-ish got him to blow up, because this is before the whole situation happened and he was believable. Right. He had the city on lock. People believed that whole persona that he was given. Hold on, let me lay it. So people, but only because they can't hear us talk at the same time and messes with the audio. But I'm gonna let you go. But I think with the Tekashi thing, from like a hip hop point of view, you know what I'm saying? People kind of bought into the gang street culture, like they believed him. You know what I'm saying? And then when everything went down and he did what he did, it's almost like people was done with him. And it's like, my thing is, if you're going to come back as an artist, like, to be taunting people, saying you still outside, you ain't get touched and all this other kind of stuff, you kind of inviting that negativity to you. If I was him, I would just tap into the Latin market, because he's bilingual. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those Latin songs could pop off. Tap into that market, get your money over there. I'm not saying not to try to come back to hip hop, but he's tried since he's been back. He was taunting Meek Mill. He was, you know, sending shots to this one. He's saying he's on Twitter saying he's the king of New York and he's coming back, and it's just a lot. And then this is a joke to me now. It's just like, yo, we don't believe you. Like, we don't want to deal with you. Like, I don't know. I think he should just tap into the Latin market and chill out. That's my opinion, because I'm just quite disgusted, to be honest.
At the end of the day, Ange, he gonna be what he was. He gonna try to reenact it. And the one thing about media, I know sometimes music, imitation.
You see it, Kev?
No, it's not up.
All right, never mind.
Oh, now here we come. It's loading now. It's up now.
All right, watch this, y'all, because I can't. I can't. Okay, we're done. I don't want to even watch that anymore.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with the copywriting. But again, like I said, he's going to do what he wants to do, and it's going to be somebody going to listen to it. I've never been a fan. I couldn't tell you one song, so it doesn't affect me. And I tell people all the time, at the end of the day, if it's something that you don't want to listen to, don't listen to it. You don't have to engage it. Oh, we know what he did, but if you don't follow it.
Yeah, I agree.
Simple process.
I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna take his.
Will follow it, and that's the thing. That's why he's doing it. Somebody's funding this stuff.
Yeah, and you got people who are real fans of his that really like champion him. So I don't know. This is gonna unfold. We're gonna see what happens. It's kind of cringe to me. It's really embarrassing. I get like secondhand embarrassment when I watch it, and I'm just it's just really cringy. I don't know. But all right, so we're off him. So the last topic of the day, I saved, we're going to end more on an intellectual note, not an ignorant note like this topic that we just spoke about. This was, was it breaking news, Kev?
It was, yeah, I guess you could call it breaking news because it was launched over the weekend. Dr. Oz from the Dr. Oz TV show fame obviously was founded by Oprah. When she had her show, he was kind of like the go-to doctor. Is running for public office in Pennsylvania. I believe he's running for senator in public office in the state of Pennsylvania, and he was endorsed by Trump. Now, obviously, it is what it is. These celebrities and whoever go support and vote for who you want to, whatever parties you're with. To me, what makes this story interesting is because Oprah Winfrey, who pretty much created Dr. Oz, is on one side of the spectrum, or perception-wise, it's on one side of the spectrum, and the Trump camp is on the other. So if Dr. Oz is being endorsed by Trump, and we know how Donald Trump moves, it's got to be a guy who's truly in his corner, because Trump just don't endorse people for the sake of endorsing. He endorses people who endorse him, who rock with him, who support his agendas. And again, whether you want to, you're a Trump fan or not, a lot of stuff that's been coming out over the last year is not productive for a good United States. And it came a lot from that organization, the January 6th insurrection. Talking about there was voter fraud, the stop the steal, all this stuff. So when you hear Dr. Oz, who, again, from a media perspective, puts on a different view than maybe what his political views are, makes you think. And I think that chain of thinking goes all the way back to Oprah Winfrey. Not to say Oprah can control what people, even how me and you are friends, what your political views are, but still, the rumor or the feeling is that, where there's smoke, there's fire. Wait a minute, if Trump and Oz are together, and Oz and Oprah are together, what's that saying about all this perception that they put out in front of the media?
Yeah, my opinion on this, like, I'm not a big political person. I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm independent. One thing that I've always looked up to Oprah and respected about Oprah, that I feel like I share similar qualities with Oprah. She's very eclectic, and she can sit down with anybody from Jay-Z and the Projects to Prince Harry, and I believe that she has an eclectic group of friends. I have people in my life that I don't agree with their political views. They may be like hardcore Republicans that might support Trump. And then I might have people who, are, hardcore Democrats, or people that don't believe in God and are atheists, and people who do believe in God. And then I have Gothic people that I talk, like, I just love people. And I like with Dr. Oz, I appreciate him for who he is as far as being a doctor and all these years recommending certain things. So like for me, and this is just how I operate.
You also had a false recommendation about COVID, but I digress.
Yeah, I didn't really follow him about the COVID thing. But like I said, I don't really get too deep into, I feel like, this political stuff is gang wars, blood versus Crips, red versus blue. All this kind of stuff is like a little bit much. That's why I'm independent. And I'm also an Aries. So we're natural born leaders, like just like the stars align for me. I just do what I want. I got my own mind. Like even during COVID, I wasn't really listening. First of all, I wasn't listening to the president at all. You know what I'm saying? I was like picking and choosing publications. I was doing my own research. I was talking to a friend of mine from Texas that's working with COVID. Like I wasn't even paying attention. So that's the thing. Like when you see these political leaders like Ted Cruz fleeing to Mexico while these people, you can't really like look up to these politicians. So whatever Dr. Oz in his home around his little table talks about, whatever he want to endorse, if he want to align himself with Trump, that doesn't necessarily mean to me that Oprah's down with that. That just means that she's cool with Dr. In my opinion, it doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't have to be the whole United States opinion. But my opinion is you can't, for me, if people were to judge me based on everybody I know and everybody I'm cool with, I would be a prostitute, a drug dealer, a CEO. I got friends that are straight up sex workers. And then I also have friends that own their own businesses. I have, Democrat friends, Republican. Like, I love people. So for me, I don't think it's fair to judge Oprah and what her beliefs are just because she F's with Dr. Oz. So I don't really buy into that. And then, okay, if Trump is endorsing Dr. Oz and they have the same political beliefs, it's not something I'm going to be like attaching myself to, or it's not something that I'm happy about. But at the same time, it's just like, I'm not going to blame Oprah, number one. And number two, if that's his business, if they're going to rock together, they're going to rock together. But I guess I start getting involved with politics if it really if it's really going to, if it's something that I feel is absolutely not fair, like if it's policing women's body, or if it's something that's directly going to affect me and stuff. But I don't really like buy into the whole blood crip mentality that the world has with this politics. But anyway, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, again, I understand what you're saying with friends, and you're absolutely right. We as people have the right to be friends with anybody and whoever that is their business. That's not our world or our decision to make when we have friends and they have things that we don't agree with. They are our friend, Right. But when you align business and brands together, Oprah is a brand. Oprah Winfrey does not align herself with people that don't follow her agenda, because she
probably didn't know he was doing this. She's been retired.
She's been retired. But again, this is a woman who you're not giving her enough credit. I'm not saying this is in this case, but I'm saying she's very strategic. You don't get to that level with not. And again,
she still works, but I don't think he consulted with her before he went and ran. Like, she probably didn't even know.
I understand, but remember that the Dr. Oz show is produced by Oprah's group, Harpo. So what I'm not saying that they don't have a right to have different opinions. All I'm saying is that this was a man that you brought to prominence. Okay, without Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Oz is still at Presbyterian, wherever he was doing practice at. So what I'm trying to say is that in a game of chess,
I see what you're saying.
When I as a candidate, I decide to run in a political setting, and everybody's going for votes. Again, you're trying to win the state of Pennsylvania, which is a very divided state when it comes to political views. So it's just kind of odd. I'm not saying anything. It's just something to watch in the future.
When I see Oprah with the hoodie on, with the makeup, look, Donald Trump with his hat. Like, if I see them rally, you know how the candidates, they'll have their team in the back, their wife and kids, and they got the merch on. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna need to see Trump and Oprah with all the merch, the Make America Great Again merch, and I need to see all of them on tour together for me to be like, all right, now Oprah, you got to sit down.
Remember, this was a woman at one time was thinking about running for president. So I'm just saying that
I would vote for her.
Well,
Oprah for president. Oprah Winfrey for president. Yo, I got Oprah's book in my bookshelf. I love Oprah Winfrey.
No,
Oprah Winfrey for president.
No president.
That's fine. I don't expect any man to do so.
Oh, why gotta be about man? No, that's not right.
Oprah for president. I love Oprah. Angie Martinez for president, man.
I'm going to Canada.
Look, I'm going to the metaverse. I'm going to Angie's world. I don't want to be in this world with y'all. Everybody's bugging out. Did you hear about this? I wasn't planning on talking about this. I was planning on closing with this, but did you hear about that? I didn't even want to address this, but people keep talking about it. The guy who died and his family brought him to the club in DC, propped his dead body up during a party, and everybody just partied in the club with the dead body just there, propped up. So the guy died. I'm not even going to show this on here, but the guy died, and I guess his last wishes were bring me to this club, you know what I'm saying, and party in my name or whatever. But
like Weekend at Bernie's, huh? They brought the co-op
type, yeah, but he wasn't even laid in the casket. He was fully dressed in like a Miri and all this. They had him propped up on the stage, dead body, straight up, and he was like there like a statue, a dead body, and then everybody was in the club just partying around the dead body, and then the family was like, well, that was his wishes and stuff. That to me is just so disturbing. First of all, doesn't it violate some type of OSHA code? Because it's like he got embalming fluid, and then like the club was like, well, we didn't know what was gonna happen. It was just like
the club thought he was alive.
I guess the club thought they were just buying out the venue to do a party. I don't know, but like supposedly
that's a major health code.
Yeah, supposedly this was his last wishes, and the mom did it. He asked for that, but after we get off this, you can go look at it, Kev, and tell me what you think.
I want to look at that. That's disturbing.
It is disturbing.
But hey, listen,
I'm going to the metaverse. Well, actually, because the metaverse isn't that what's his name? The guy from Facebook,
Zuckerberg.
Isn't that Zuckerberg's thing? The metaverse.
I think he has some. He didn't. It's not his complete baby, but I think he's involved with it somewhere.
Well, I'm going to Angie's World. Y'all could go to the metaverse.
I'll go to Angie's World with you.
All right, we out. All right, guys. So until next time, that's gonna do it for us. We have just recapped the whole week for you guys. Next time we come, we're gonna have some more news. Make sure to listen. Tomorrow's Monday. I hope y'all have a productive week. I hope you enjoy the show tonight. Don't forget to tap in with the channel. Please follow, subscribe, share. Tap in with Kev. His information is going to be in the description at 950 Kev. He got his show and everything that he got going on. Just tap in with the movement. Check out the podcast that I put up earlier, the Ladies VIP. You got anything to say before we get up out of here, Kev?
Angie, it's always a pleasure rocking with you.
Thank you for being here.
We tugged a little bit tonight, which is good. It's great conversation. Yeah. It is what it is, but love is love. And again, thank you all for listening. Rocking with this woman. She does a great job, and she needs a good pair of sunglasses because her future is extremely bright.
Thank you so much, Kev. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting the show, for always, being a great co-host. And we're going to have different opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kev, you can't always agree on everything. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be people that watch that agree with what you say, and there's going to be people that watch that agree with what I say. And at the end of the day, we still respect each other. It's just different opinions. Comment down below. Tell us what you think. We'll be back very soon. My name is Angie. That's Kev. You could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to be in Angie's world. And for that, I love you. Thank you for watching.